Hello, this is Anne on this segment called Wounds and Abundance, a combination of words that don't really go together. But from my point of view, in the journey that you've already taken, you know how important wounds are, about how they affected you, and how you need to really understand, work, and heal wounds. In this case, to know abundance, because wounds have everything to do with why you're not experiencing the abundance that you might. You may have, as I have, looked into many manifestation programs. It all started with the law of attraction that brought it to our attention. And I think Abraham Hicks also talks about what brings attention, abundance. So I'm going to spend time elaborating on wounds that limit your abundance in detail. And your job here, while you're listening to this, or is to jot down what is relevant to you. And when you do your assignments, you'll begin to describe how you see the wounds have affected you and all the ideas around money and the rich wealth that you have to look at. Because everyone that you've taken in unconsciously, because it's out there in the world, you need to find the trauma parts that took in those beliefs so that you can release them and be free to attract the abundance in all forms that you want. The core wounds that I was speaking about are all varieties of not deserving. Not deserving, not being worthy, not good enough. A lack of confidence, a belief that you're not deserving of the good things that come to people. Another core wounding is that given your childhood wounds, you gain the belief the world that you live in doesn't give to you. It's not friendly. So if your important parent didn't give you enough, didn't understand, see you, see your needs, respond to those needs, the young child believes that others don't give, that the world in general is not generous, nor is it friendly to you. Another way of looking at core wounds is that your heart was broken when a parent didn't come through consistently enough. So you couldn't even trust this mother, for example, because she wasn't there for you when you needed her. She may have been there enough, but not enough of the time, and it broke your heart, and your heart doesn't trust. So if you're walking around with this unhealed, broken heart, it doesn't trust anyone or the world to provide for you in any way. Now, scarcity mentality. What do you learn when you don't get enough? when somebody doesn't respond to your needs adequately. You think you're living in a world of scarcity. There's not enough love or attention to go around. There's not enough food to go around or comfort to go around. So it's easy to adopt a scarcity mentality, which will apply to all things, because this is what our mind does. It generalizes. And the isolation. When you're hurt young in childhood, you feel all alone. There's no one there you can depend on. You feel cut off. And feeling isolated and cut off, you don't feel that you belong to a world of richness that is rich with creativity, rich with activities, enjoyment, entertainment, adventures. None of that. So, this is how core wounds of not deserving can show up in this particular way, or the painful experiences of childhood. So, we're going to elaborate and talk about the lies. So, from the wound of being rejected, abandoned, or betrayal, I repeat myself, you don't believe you're good enough and deserving only of the crumbs, if that. Lie number 2, feeling inadequate, not confident, not up to things, self-doubt, no belief in self. What often happens is that you're imprinted with an inner judge, inner critic, or the judge, who is always criticizing and looking at what you do, who you are. A lot of negative judgments. Oftentimes, this is supported by a crushing perfectionism, how needing to be perfect is what drives you. As you may see, as I do these slides or even these presentations, I'm not reading a script. I'm speaking spontaneously and I make mistakes. I find mistakes on my slides even because I freed myself from perfectionism. Good enough is good enough for me. So others with perfectionism find it very, very high bar that they never ever leap over. So there's never any satisfaction when you're a perfectionist. Never a moment that you don't feel the pressure of performing. So there's never any joy in what you do. The negative inner critic, the judge, and perfectionism. So nothing that you do, or you never feel valued. There is no value coming in your life. Line number 3. I already spoken about the broken heart. But line number 3 is believing that you can't trust anyone. And this lack of trust extends to the self. And without trust, you are without a tether. There's no way that you can feel safe because there is no trust. There is nothing to hold on to. Line number 4, scarcity mindset. With the wounds, you experience no safety, no protection. No one who saw and understood you or your needs. The father, I have learned, is the person, the parent, that really is the carrier of safety and protection. I was lucky enough to have a father who was there enough for me that he gave me a sense of safety and being protected. And to some degree, I felt my needs and wants seen. However, with the core wounded and believing in the scarcity, you don't feel that your needs and wants are met. And that's what leads to believing there's just not enough to go around. You didn't get it. So safety and love are scarce. Isolation expresses itself when the young child, in being wounded, feels alone. Since the parents who are supposed to be there aren't there enough, he or she feels very much alone. No one there for me. Even spirit, because of trauma, the child cannot feel the connection with spirit. Spirit is always there. Spirit is always there to support, keep us safe, and loves us. But because of our wounding, we're cut off from that knowledge, that connection. And we also forget that our essence is spirit. And that is what where we at when we are hurt in childhood. As Marianne Williamson said, we began as love, but then we learned fear. And all the chaos, the pain in the world is an onslaught to our sense of being as spirit, and we forget. And then we take on the fears that come from our forgetting. Line number 6, perceiving the world as hostile. So believing the world as hostile because you didn't get what you needed and it felt actually hurtful. The young child lives with a protective shield around them, hiding her essence, his essence from others, but also from the self. In other words, trauma parts are created to defend, build a wall around the heart. As I may have mentioned before, my last spiritual teacher, Miranda McPherson, gave me the gift of telling us that the goal of spiritual practice is an undefended heart. So it's important to deal with the wounds that created trauma parts that defend the heart from further hurt. And we need to heal the trauma parts with my suggestion in the other module with inner child work, where you are guided to create a sacred space in the place of imagination in a timeless realm to connect with the young parts of yourself, your inner child, inner children, to be with them so they're not alone and can gradually feel safe and return, unlearn fear, and return to the original self, their essence, having removed the wall around their hearts, connecting with their hearts. Now, we have models, provided by your parents, your family, and all the people you've been around. And I remember how in some of the training around wealth or manifestation, they might say, you need to surround yourself with people who are abundant so that you can understand their attitude, their energy, their perspectives, and so forth. Who are around you now? Are they people who live abundantly, with abundance in their lives, riches of activities, adventures, joys, um, being free to do what they want to do and need to do? Rather, your parents and your family, your neighborhood, you may have seen your family struggling to make ends meet, happy that at the end of the month there was enough to take care of all the needs. Or parents taking 2 or 3 jobs. That's what one of my clients, who was breaking through in her abundance, remembers how her mother took 2 or 3 jobs to keep going. Or father was never at home, or both parents weren't at home because they were working to bring in. That's what it took, the sacrifice of a family at home because parents had to work. So there was some money for necessities, maybe, but no extras. I remember that in our family we didn't have much, but my sister took piano lessons, and soon after that, I wanted to take it too. But I was of the idea prior to then that there was only money for necessities, but I saw extra being spent. So I asked for what I wanted, and I got it. But do you see that had my sister not broken that barrier, it would never occur to me. One of the ways I see I have taken this idea of scarcity is that in recent times I would say, but I can't afford it. I want this, but I can't afford it. I won't even look at things that I can't afford. That's how closed I am. People can shop online or in stores and look at all kinds of beautiful and wonderful things that they say, I want that. I don't even do that. That is still my scarcity mentality that I need to treat. And then, have you experienced at home fighting about money? That may happen a lot. And in such a context, in your neighborhood, for example, did you ever hear people dreaming of having a lot? Dreams of abundance. And have you been in a family who never sees the rewards coming to them? So, in this segment, I'm going to be expressing ideas that you may hold. And if you hold them, look at that, how it's caused limitations of your dreams and what your wants are, so that you may begin to know what is in your way. One myth is you must be lucky to be rich. Have you thought that? I'm not lucky. They're lucky. Or if you want money, it's not very spiritual. You're too materialistic. So if you want to be spiritual, don't even think about wealth. If you got it, that's fine, but don't want it. It's not spiritual. Something that many, many of us learn is money comes only from hard work. So you need to work hard. You need careers and jobs where when you do the work, you get rewarded. But that's the only way money comes. Others may have ideas that rich people, they're not good people. Um, they're selfish people. They don't care about others. They only care about what they have. That's a myth. Another myth is money is a necessary evil. So money is already tainted by this dark and evilness. And have you heard the expression? You want money for that? Do you think money grows on trees? Here are other variations about myths. Rich people are greedy. That's why. You can see them working and to get more and more and more because all they care about is money. I don't want to be that way. I'm not greedy. Or often said, money is the root of all evil. Have you heard that? Don't you think that that creates some hesitation about wanting money? Another is, I'll never be rich. Do you walk around thinking that? Everybody else can want to, but I don't. You might even be proud about that. Here's another, money can't buy happiness. Another, you need to sacrifice everything for financial success, and I'm not willing to do that. Or, our family never have and will never have money. So, if any of these connected to some beliefs that you hold, jot them down because we need to uncover as many beliefs about money that you have. So, what are alternative beliefs about money? I love this one. Money comes easily to me. That's an alternative way of looking at money, coming easily to you. Here's something that I I love thinking about. Money is like love. Remember, spirit love is always there. Money is energy like that. It's always there. But we don't believe that we can claim it. Another one that I appreciate is my partner saying, I see money as a medium of appreciation. What a clean, beautiful way of thinking about money. It's a medium of appreciation. Or, money is mine just as oxygen is. Abundance is mine just as oxygen is. But we don't see it that way. Money appears quickly and unexpectedly. Do you believe that? You could. On the bottom line, perhaps you don't know the source of money, so you need to ponder that. An alternative way of looking at money is the following. Money gives you security, provides for your needs, so it's a good thing. Money provides for enrichments such as art, music, dance, culture that you can bring into your life. Money provides means to steady train for your expansion, education, or just for fun. Money is also a force for good because money can help so many. So those are alternative ways that we can begin to entertain to change our view about money. So, in this segment and in your homework, you need to self reflect and discover all the ways that you place limitations you place on money, all the lies that you took in, and especially the emotions connected to money and the rich. So, for example, if you see in a picture of a rich person like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, what comes up? Envy, jealousy? Those are signs of anger. What is it that bothers you? That they have what you don't have? Are you angry about that? How different are you from them and how they think and do things? So you will discover the extent of your fears and anger that you might have about those who have wealth. And somehow those fears and your anger taint how you think about wealth for yourself. So this is a time for you to look at all your wounds, beliefs, and emotions related to abundance, because you can bring all of this to superconscious for treatment. And that's the point of this. So, in your homework, and as you listen to this presentation, gather all the relevant wounds, all the relevant beliefs or lies that you've taken in, and your emotions about wealth and abundance, because all of this can be treated with superconscious. So this is how wounds and abundance are related.